Hello and welcome to the Pedders Suspension and Breaks Outer East Football Netball Show, brought to you by Gameface. I'm Aidan Miller, and once again alongside me in the studio, Steph Parkers. Good afternoon, Steph.
Good afternoon, Aidan. Plenty to talk about this week, as there always is. But for once, we were actually at different games on the weekend, so very interesting.
We most certainly were. We were split up, me and Trent, me and Steph, so it was a bit of an interesting one, but we are going to take you through all the latest news across our competition once again for this show.
Ones to watch. We highlight some of the top performers for this season so far.
Match of the round preview for round 5, this week's game between Belgrave and Yea.
Match day interviews from the weekend with Seville's Jack Nolan and Genesis Foster-Jonassen.
Our in-studio guest is Wandin's young gun, Mitch Upton.
And of course, Fantasy Football and Netball continues. This week we're picking our half forwards and goal attacks.
And of course, a big thank you to Pedders Suspension and Breaks as being our partner for the Outer East Football Netball Show for season 2025.
Before we get into the news, of course we want to point out we have even more trophies from All Trophies on our desk this week. How cool are these? These are best and fairest trophies. I particularly love that women's footballer best and fairest trophy. That is elite. Make sure you check them out. You can go to their website or you can contact Mary directly, and I'm sure she'll be happy to help you.
Thank you so much to everyone who submitted entries or nominees for our Community Photo of the Month, Volunteer of the Month and SSA Sports Coaches of the Month. It's lovely to be able to recognise people in our community.
Absolutely. So at the moment, April Community Photos of the Month are up on our socials. Please go on there and vote for your favourite entry.
We'd like to congratulate our first Volunteer of the Month for seniors, Steve Martin, the President at the Mount Evelyn Football Netball Club. He has worked tirelessly to be the key driver of a number of different projects across the Mount Evelyn Football Netball Club, including the building of the new pavilion. He makes sure that he is visible, approachable, presence in all areas of the club, including the junior club, values the development and growth of all the players, coaches and members of our football netball community.
It's a pretty big rap from the person who nominated him. We'd also like to congratulate our SSA Sports Coaches of the Month. These are for seniors. So under 18s, it was Brad McKenzie from Yarra Glen, who was described as driven, optimistic and approachable. For open netball, it's Nicole Braden from Hillsville, who was described as dedicated, motivating and fun. For women and girls, it's Courtney Stevens from Pakenham, who was described as committed, dedicated and respected. And for senior football, it's David Johnson from Emerald, who is described as passionate, driven and friendly. So thanks to SSA Sports, these coaches have won a $100 voucher to spend on new equipment to help them with training and game day.
We'd also like to say congratulations to Woorie Alex, Hunter Ryan and also Archie Spencer, who both debuted with the Eastern Rangers on Sunday. Hunter was, of course, on the show last week, and we're very proud of both of you boys for getting the opportunity in the Coates Talent League.
Okay, well, let's get into our first segment for this week. It is, of course, ones to watch. And Aidan, for netball, it was hard to go past Bianca Daniels despite Woorie having a loss on the weekend.
Most certainly, Steph. She's currently got 77 goals for this season. As you mentioned, despite losing, Bianca still scored more goals than both the Seville shooters. She's good under pressure, doesn't panic, like that clutch winning goal in last year's winning grand final in overtime, right on the siren.
Absolutely. She's definitely one to keep an eye on, and it's still early in the season, so lots of great performances from her still to come, no doubt. We also wanted to highlight Jack Nolan from Seville. You were at this game on the weekend, and a new role for Jack.
He has had a new role this season. No Deng Nai, no Jackson Lowe. He's playing in the ruck this year. He usually plays the centre half back behind the ball, and he's usually really, really good there. But he did have a really good game of the weekend. He had 13 disposals, including 20 hit-outs. That was more than Nelson Aldridge, more than Braden Woolridge, Warby's two mainstays in the ruck. He also had 6 score involvements and well, and it was really just a captain's performance. You know, it's speaking from my own experience, playing in the ruck when you're not used to playing in there is not a fun place to play. It's physical. There's a lot of running, but Jack really stood up for his team and was very influential in their win.
Last but not least, from a women's footy point of view, we have Beth Kadara from Pakenham. She plays ruck, but what I noticed when I was watching her highlights today is she also kind of acts as another midfielder. She was attacking the ball. She had multiple clearing kicks out of the back 50. She was not afraid to take the game on, and she's already had multiple Team of the Week appearances this season. So I think a huge asset for Pakenham for sure, and definitely one to watch. Over now to our Yarra Valley Water Juniors Corner, and our Junior Player of the Week is Harper from Mount Evelyn Junior Football Club. She had a fantastic game running around the midfield, and then she drifted forward and kicked the defining goal of the game, got them over the line. So well done, Harper, on an incredible game.
Earlier in the week, we announced our SSA Sports Coaches of the Month and Volunteer of the Month, so we'd like to give a shout out to our junior club winners. Firstly, our coaches Ashley Crick from Yarra Junction, our Junior Football Coach of the Month, and Alice McCormick from Mombo. Wildcat Unders Netball Coach of the Month. Ashley was described as fun, passionate, caring, and Alice was helpful, nice, and encouraging. Keep up the great work, guys, and thanks so much to SSA Sports for giving all our coaches of the month a $100 voucher to spend on equipment to help make training and game day easier.
We also wanted to highlight Sarah Smith from Rock. She is our Junior Volunteer of the Month. Sarah was nominated for her contributions as Treasurer and Uniform Coordinator. The person who nominated her said she spends hours on her Treasurer role as well as wheeling and dealing with the uniform suppliers. On top of that, there are match day roles of pink vest, scoring, canteen, and more. So definitely a little bit of an all-rounder there. Keep up the great work, Sarah.
Last time these two met in the footy, the equation was simple. Beat the other team, play finals. There was a Tiger Army trying to make history out of recess and a tribe of Magpies looking for their first final series since 2017. It was the definition of the romance of football. While their football side was down and out, it was Ye's netballers that kept the club afloat. They know how to fight for survival, but the Belgrave girls only just missed finals last season and they'll be hungry to make amends. Everyone loves a great story. It's the Rochford Match of the Round.
Heading over to our match of the round for round 5. Of course, this game is going to be played between Belgrave and Yea. But firstly, we will reflect on the game in round 4 between Seville and Warburton and Millgrove. Unfortunately for myself, I only got my netball tip correct. I did get the footy correct. Steph's got one on me this week. She got both footy and the netball correct, tipping Seville for both of those.
Let's go. To be fair, this is the first one where I've beaten you, so I'll take the wins where I can get them. I'll leave it to you to review these matches, Aidan, because I was obviously at Powtown versus Alex on the weekend.
Yep, most certainly. Well, we'll start off with the netball, and it was, to be honest, a really tight game, just like it was last year in the grand final. On this occasion, though, it was Seville who really... I guess you'd probably say whoever blinked first is going to be the one who lost. I think Warby just blinked at the start of that last quarter. Seville got a bit of a run on after it was pretty much level at three-quarter time. They did get out to a 7-goal lead. Warby were able to cut it back down to 2 goals late. But ultimately, Seville were able to regain a bit of composure. They did go on to win by 5 goals. We did see a couple of interesting positional changes. Most notably, Warby's playing coach Carly Woppert actually did play a decent chunk of the game in goal defence for a fair portion of the third quarter and even in the last quarter as well. Bianca Daniels even shifted back to goal attack for a little bit, so we did see a few positional changes there. We even saw Ashlyn Elliott play goal defence as well. She usually plays more mid-court, wing attack centre, but we even saw her play goal defence. So we saw a few changes for both sides, but it was Seville ultimately who were able to come away with a win and stay undefeated in season 2025. And much the same in the footy, it was also a really, really tight game. Seville probably after quarter time always had that little bit of ascendancy, but Warby always kept coming at them. Seville were always able to get the response. It was 16 points the difference at three-quarter time. Warby were able to level the scores late in the last quarter before Seville were able to get the match-winning goal. Probably the big difference in the game was the accuracy in the kicking. Seville kicked 11 goals 8, Warby kicked 9 goals 12, and if I'm being completely honest, probably missed a few gettable ones in crucial times, which was probably the difference. And as mentioned, the big one was Jack Nolan playing in the ruck. He has apparently played there all season. We didn't actually know that coming into the game, but he competed really well against Nelson Aldridge in particular, who is one of the best rucks in the comp and a really hard guy, really physical ruckman to get over the top of. But Jack did a fantastic job. As mentioned, it was a captain's performance and he was so influential in them getting that win. And just like the netball, they stay undefeated as well.
Very interesting. We knew that was going to be a great match of the round, both games. Very, very interesting stuff. Well, I was at Powtown versus Alex. Unfortunately, we weren't there for the netball. We were only there for the senior football. But I will say the battle between Ratton and Nankervis in the ruck was so fun to watch. It was so interesting. There were moments where Ben sort of had it, and then there were moments where Lockie sort of had it as well. So it was, it kind of went back and forth. I don't really think there was a winner. I think probably the only difference was Lockie Nankervis drifted forward quite a bit and got them a few goals late, which I think really sealed their win on the day. So, it was a very interesting game. I also thought Nathan Georgiadis, who played down back, did an incredible job of shutting down Cooper. So Cooper had kicked 3 goals in the opening quarter, and from then on was extremely quiet. quiet once they'd put Nathan Georgiadis back on him to slow him down. So Alex's first win on the board. I think they're very excited to have one on the board. It must feel pretty good. And yeah, it was a really, really good game. Let's now take a look at this week's match of the round, which is between Belgrave and Yay.
Well, the last time these two clubs played, as mentioned, it was round 18 in last year's game. Belgrave won that game 19 goals 13, 127 to Yay, 12-9, 81. And it was a really high stakes game because whoever won the game was going to play finals. Whoever lost the game wasn't going to play finals. And pretty big stories for both clubs it was at the time. Yay, of course, were coming out of recess, so it would have been an incredible story if they could have played finals after coming out of recess. Belgrave hadn't played finals since their premiership in 2017. So ultimately it was Belgrave who did get their little fairy tale, and fantastic to see either way. Coming into this one, Yay are currently just sitting inside the top 5 with a 1-2 record. Belgrave haven't had an ideal start to the season at all. They're currently 0-4 and 8th on the ladder. So really important for Belgrave to try and get a win here this week. And of course, important for Yay too to solidify a spot inside the top 5 of Belgrave. If they want to play finals, they've got to get motoring this week. You know, you don't want to go 0-5 and leave it too late. Some of the key matchups are probably in the middle. The two major ball winners in the middle for both these sides. For Belgrave, it's Riley Petland. He's averaging 17 disposals a game. And for Yay, one of their star players, Paddy Evans, is averaging 20 disposals a game for the Tigers. So that's probably going to be one of the head-to-head matchups in the middle, down both ends of the ground. Nathan Dawson's had a pretty good start to the season for Belgrave. He's currently kicked 8 goals so far this season. He's averaging 2 goals a game. And I imagine Sam Nicholson will probably have the job on him. And then down the other end, I think Chris Campbell's going to have that really big job on Corbin Sutherland, who's got 5 goals this season and kicked 68 goals last year. So big job for Chris Campbell to get the job done on Corbin Sutherland.
Absolutely. Very interesting. All right, tell us about the netball. Yeah,
well, going to the netball, the last time these two sides also like the footy was round 18 last year. Yay won that game quite dominantly by 40 goals, 63 to 23 was the final score in that game. Heading into this game, neither of these sides actually have a win at the moment. Yay are 7th at 0-3. Belgrave, unfortunately, are last at 0-4. So whoever gets the win gets on the board for season 2025. Whoever loses probably finds themselves in some murky waters. So really important for both of these teams to get the win. So high stakes, I'd have to say. Looking at some of the key matchups, Hannah Mullins has got 69 goals this year for Belgrave, and I reckon Laura Skipworth of Yay will have the job on her. And then Meg Sunbloom of Yay has got 58 goals. She's their leading goal scorer. I think Beck Gould probably takes the job on stopping her. So that's probably what we're looking at in round 5.
Very, very good and high stakes, I would say, in both games. Let's go to tips. Footy.
I think I'm going to go Yay just in the footy, I reckon.
I think I'm going to agree with you there. I feel like Yay are going to have, I would say, a fairly convincing win, actually. I think, I'm going to go Yay. What about netball?
I might go the other side, netball. I think I might go Belgrave in the netball, I think.
I agree with you. So we're on the same page for this week with both our tips, which will be very interesting.
This week, our exclusive local Footy Hub match will be available to all our local Footy Hub subscribers, and that game will be the Clash of the Tigers between Woori-Alec and Upwey Tacoma.
Since 1950, Pedders have understood that every customer's journey is different, but our solution remains the same: to get you where you want to go as safely as possible. We believe it's not just the destination that matters, but also the journey, and we are committed to creating better journeys for everyone.
As mentioned at the beginning of the show, our first special guest for this weekend was an interview with captain of Seville, Jack Nolan.
Well, I'm joined by Seville's captain, Jack Nolan, after a fantastic win here in the match of the round. And Jack, you must be very happy going 4-0.
Yeah, absolutely stoked. To start the year off the way we have is fantastic, and to beat Warby is even better. We couldn't beat them last year, so it was sort of a monkey on the shoulders, and yeah, it was a fantastic win.
What were some of the messages coming into today's game?
We know they love their run. We know they like to get it on the outside, so to try and control that and just halve the stoppages and try and win it from the centre.
Yeah, fantastic. We noticed a big positional change for you today, mate. You just told me before that you've been playing there all year, but you've moved into the ruck. How have you liked that so far?
I haven't liked it at all. It hurts. I can't walk any Sundays, but it's what the team needs. And losing Deng last year due to an ACL forced our hand a little bit. It's hard to find good ruckmen. So, change things around a little bit, try and get around the ball myself a little bit more. And, been positive so far.
Well, you did have your work cut out for you today against Nelson Aldridge, but you did compete really well with him. You must have been pretty happy with that.
Yeah, stoked. Nelson's a big boy, and he's been doing it for many years and dominating for many years. So to get anywhere near him is, fantastic. Yeah.
They really came hard at you in that last quarter there, mate. You led by about 3 goals at three-quarter time, and then they were able to level it. How were you just able to kind of wrestle back that momentum?
we've been really happy with how we've fought against teams' momentum so far this year. Whether we're playing a top team or a bottom team, we know that we're not going to be able to control the game for like the whole game. So to be able to control it and sort of minimise how much momentum they have is something we're really looking into.
Yeah. We had Nathan Thompson on with us before at the start of the game, and one of the things he mentioned was that you've let teams jump you a little bit this season, but you seem to kind of go level with Warby at the start. You must have been pretty happy not letting them get away too early.
Yeah, no, going goal for goal with them at the start was fantastic. It's something we're definitely trying to improve. Like Tomo said, we're not really starting games too well. We're letting teams jump us a little bit, but yeah, it all comes back to what I said about momentum and trying to minimise that.
Jack, thank you very much for joining us today, mate, and good luck for the rest of the season. Thanks, mate. Our next interview was with one of Seville's mid-court stars who's having a breakout season, Genesis Foster-Jonassen. Well, we're joined by Genesis Foster-Jonassen after Seville's round 4 victory over Warburton and Millgrove. And Jen, you must feel very happy going 4-0.
Yeah, look, it was a tough one out there. We had to ride it up the whole way, but we played well as a team, and it's something that we're going to have to keep working on if we want to make it to the end.
Yep. You've had some interesting battles over the last couple of years, I guess, against Warburton and Millgrove. Did it feel good today just getting one back on them after the disappointments of last year?
Yeah, look, we knew it was going to be a tough game coming in, but they're a great side. But we've also got a great group of girls. So, yeah.
Yep. It was a really tight game up until three-quarter time, and then you really seemed to ignite in that last quarter. You managed to get it out to 7 goals. What were some of the things that were mentioned at three-quarter time that you think sparked that little surge?
Yeah, look, I think one thing that we've spoken about a lot is our turnover rate and consistency, and obviously we tried to keep that up, and I think we did well in that area. But it's also something too that we have to keep working on.
Yeah. You're having a bit of a breakout year, it has to be said, Jen. You've already made the team of the week 3 times this season, and based on your performance today, it might even potentially be 4. What do you think sort of brought on this really good form?
Oh, look, I don't know. It's a bit surprising to me, but yeah, I think in my own game, I just have to keep working hard, and I guess it shows here and there. But yeah.
Yep. You've also been given an opportunity with the North East Blaze this year, a community partner through the VNL. How have you liked your time playing with them?
Yeah, look, it's a great club. It's a great group of people to be around, and I'm loving my netball there, and I'm going there, so yeah, it's really exciting.
Yep. Jen, thank you very much for joining us, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Well, it is week 2 of our Young Guns series where we're going to be highlighting some up-and-comers in our competition, and this week's guest is Mitch Upton from Wandin.
Mitch, thank you very much for joining us in the studio today, mate. We really appreciate you giving us your time out of your busy schedule. The first question we wanted to ask was, you're playing a mix of under-16s and under-18s this season at just 15 years of age. How are you finding the challenge of playing in the higher age group?
Yeah, I love it. Obviously, playing with 10 to 12 each week of my premiership teammates from the under-16s team last year. So to sort of keep that connection with them, it's really good. Yeah.
Yep. Can you tell us a bit about some of your mentors at the club and how they've supported you so far?
Yeah, so my dad's a big one. Also my brother, growing up in the backyard, all the battles. In the transition to senior footy, Nick Crosland's been really good. Jeff Bartling and the senior coach, Nick Adam, just with all the text messages. And yeah, checking up. It's really good.
Yep. You played 2 rounds so far in the under-16 boys squad for the Eastern Rangers. How have you found that experience?
Yeah, I've loved it. Meeting new people, playing against bigger bodies, better competition. It's definitely an eye-opener, but yeah, I love the challenge so far.
Yep. You've also been selected for the under-16 Vic Metro squad as part of the AFL's National Development Championships. Between the Eastern Rangers and Vic Metro, what are some of the things you've learned or improved on?
Definitely the speed of the game. Yeah, it's a lot quicker as you get into high levels. And yeah, the physicality. I got found out a bit, a bit of a skinny bloke I am. Really need to get in the weight room. Found that out after played that first game.
It's all right, mate, same as me. Do you have your own personal goal in mind for what you want to get out of it?
Yeah, 100%. To play senior football this year is definitely the goal. Hopefully through the bye rounds, get the opportunity, but yeah, we'll see. And also to make that Vic Metro squad, head up to the Gold Coast would be pretty cool. Play against some really good competition in front of a lot of AFL scouts. So looking forward to that.
What's the ultimate dream? Are your eyes set on playing at AFL level?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's every kid's childhood dream. But I'd be happy to just play at the highest level I can, whether that's VFL, AFL or local footy. I'd even love that to play at Wandin. So yeah,
Got to ask, mate, what's inspired the bleach blonde hair? I'm a big fan, but is there any particular inspiration behind it?
It's a bit of a trend going around throughout school. Sort of got to me. My mates did it, and I got sucked in. But cannot wait for it to go back to the normal colour.
Really?
That's good.
No, that's all right. Mitch, thank you very much for joining us in the studio, mate, and good luck for the season ahead.
Thank you.
All right, it is time for our final segment of this week's show. It's fantasy football and netball. As mentioned, we will be choosing our half-forward lines for both the men's and women's footy, and then our goal attacks for the netball. We will kick things off with the men's football. And for my half-forward flank, I have gone with Josh Cowan from Powertown. Now, unfortunately, Josh was at a wedding on the weekend, so I was looking forward to seeing how he went in person up at Powertown, but unfortunately he didn't play. I still have faith in him, and I'm still going to put him at in my half forward line. Centre half forward, I'm going to go with Liam McComb from Yarra Junction. He's currently second in the leading goal kickers in Division 1. I think he's a great leader out on field. He's been kicking really well so far this season, so I'm popping him at centre half forward. And on my half forward flank, you mentioned him in your match of the round preview. I'm going with Nathan Dawson from Belgrave.
Yep. Take a look at my senior footy side. First up at centre half forward, pretty hard to go past Taylor Gibson. Steph's stolen a couple of my players, so I thought it was still one of hers from last year. He's currently second in goals for Premier Division. He's got 21 already, and he's that main spearhead of that Woori Alec forward line, which has already got plenty of stars in there when you consider Riley Munkhorst, and even Zach goes in there as well. So hard to go past Taylor. Half forward flank, another one really hard to go past was Joel Garner, and the thing I love about Joel is his versatility, because he does also run through the midfield as well. So that's a big thing that I always look for in these fantasy selections is versatility in a player's game. He's really good overhead as well. He's got great goal sense, so hard to go past Joel. And I got a good look at this guy on Saturday, so it's hard to go past him. Was Dominic Alloy. I'm going to have him at my other half forward flank. I really like Dominic's work rate. He really gets up the ground well, and he's one of those main goal kickers for that Seville side. So that's who I'm going to go with on my half forward line.
Very strong. Okay, let's jump over to women's footy. Half forward flank, I'm going to go with Lily Pagels from Warburton Millgrove. She's had a couple of Team of the Week appearances so far already. She's been pretty strong up forward, and I think last week it was where Scarlett was unavailable. She was really strong up forward and a really good target for them, so definitely had to have her in my team. At centre half forward, I'm going with Rose Keeley from Thornton Eildon, a very good leader. She's one of their, I say older players, they have quite a young team, but her younger sister's playing the side with her as well. I feel like she's a really strong leader, so I wanted to have someone like that. Half forward flank, really hard to go past Kiara Simmons from Mount Evelyn. She played her first game last week. We chatted about her being one to watch. Really strong performance, and not only is she the captain of Mount Evelyn, but I am going to make her the captain of my fantasy women's football team. So, yeah.
There we go. Early selection there for the captain, but I like it. Plenty of confidence. Going across to my women's footy side, well, I have managed to retain one of my players from last year, which was Maddie Ward from Warburton Westburn. I did have her on the half-forward flank last year. This year I'm going to have her into centre half-forward. Again, a bit like Dominic Alloy, good work rate, going to get up the ground for me, so I'm going to back her in. Another selection I've also got from Warburton Westburn is Gabby Woods. Now, this is a bit of an interesting one because she's probably more well-known for her netball, but she is playing footy this year, and also, interestingly enough, in the netball she plays in defence, but she is one of the leading goal scorers in Division 2 in women's footy in the Outer East. So I decided I'm going to put Gabby in at my forward line and back her in. Then for my other half-forward flank, I'm going to go with Mackenzie Adams. She's already made the Team of the Week multiple times this season. She, of course, plays with Mount Evelyn. Probably a player a bit like Joel Garner, who I'm going to have some confidence in to play some midfield minutes as well. Again, as I say, the versatility very important to me with these selections. So that's what my half-forward line is going to look like for women's footy.
Interesting. All right, one to go. We're going to do our netball now. We're choosing our goal attacks. And someone that I just could not go past, who I think has so much potential and who will be on the show in a few weeks' time, I'm going with Ava Upton from Mount Evelyn. I just feel like she's had so much growth over last season. She's now at Mount Evelyn playing with her mentors from Northeast Blaze in people like Caitlin Black and Ella Bayliss. So yeah, I just couldn't go past her.
No, definitely. My goal attack, another player who I've got to have a good look at on the weekend is Taylor Werner from Seville. Of course, she did come across from Melinda Fernie Creek last year. She played in their premiership in 2022, where honestly, she was really impressive in the extra time period. She really stood up under pressure. So that's one thing that I really love about Taylor's game. Again, a little bit of versatility. She does sometimes shift into wing attack. She mainly plays in goals, but she does have that ability to play mid-court if you really need her to. So yeah, it was really hard to go past Taylor.
Absolutely. Oh, well, good luck to everyone out there who has to choose, because I feel like all of our teams so far are very strong. I'm very interested to see how this vote goes once our teams are complete.
Well, that pretty much wraps up all there is is to talk about on the Pedders Suspension and Breaks Outer East Football Netball show this week. Remember, if there's anything you'd like to see in the show, make sure you leave a comment down below. Steph, thank you again for joining me in the studio.
Thanks so much for having me.
For all the viewers out there, don't forget to get your game face on.